Hey everyone. So, not much going on this week. I'm home for the week. I'm actually not going anywhere till April 16th. I know everyone's working hard, uh, and there's just really not a ton to talk about. So, I thought what I might do this week is give you a little preview of my upcoming video series. This is a quick story about security that I thought you might enjoy. So, take a watch. Would love to hear your feedback on it.
I had the good fortune of being in digital since I was a young guy, and as a result, I've seen a lot of things. So I'm going to tell you about one of my favorite things, and it led to an incredible security idea that I had. So one day, I got a call from a customer, a very angry customer. And remember, I'm at this point the vice president of e-business at this organization, which means that in order for this customer to get all the way to me, he would have had to talk to someone in the call center. He would have had to talk to maybe a manager and another manager after that. And he was so angry that they kept moving him along the food chain until he got to me. And I said, "Sir, I'm sorry, what is the problem?" And he said, "Your system sucks." And I said, "Besides that, what's the problem?" He said, "I cannot log in. Here's how it works for me. Sometimes I have to call the call center every single time I want to get into the platform. I have to call them, get them to change my password, then I can get in. Every time, without fail." And I said, "Well, that's weird. It's not supposed to work that way." Now understand, this is at a time when we don't have a way online of changing passwords. So, and this is even before multi-factor authentication. So I tell him, "I'm sorry, sir, let me take a look." And I go and I start digging. I dig into the logs. I keep digging, and I finally find this weird oddity where there is another IP address. Well, the IP address is the address of the device that's coming, or the address of the internet that you're coming from, and it's not his. You can see where he's logging in, and then you can see this other one. I assume that perhaps, because back in those days we were using account numbers, that this is another customer who has an account number that's very close to this gentleman's number and keeps just bat fingering it. Although I can't find a lot of evidence of that, but that's what it looks like. So I called the person. I said, "Listen, I'm really sorry. We have someone out there, I don't know who, but they continually put in your account number. I think they're confused, and maybe we just need to change your account number." "I don't want to change my account number. It's a lot of work, blah, blah, blah." "I understand, sir, but this person, they actually work at the same place as you." And I explained where it was, because I had taken the IP address, and back then you couldn't just go to a website, put it in, and get the address. You had to call your internet provider. In this case, it was GTE. And I said, "They work at this address, so I don't know, maybe we can." He stopped me right there and said, "Never mind, this isn't your problem." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "It's not you." And I said, "You're going to have to give me more than that, sir." So I convinced him to explain what was happening, and he said it pretty much in a single sentence. He said, "My ex-wife works in that building." Armed with that information, I actually went back and looked at the logs. And then those logs and that trends all made sense, because you could see what would happen. She would come in the morning and maybe get her coffee, sit down, pull up the website, put in his account number, put the wrong password in 3 times, which would have the effect of locking his account. At lunch, she'd do it again. And then before she went home, she'd do it again. And if it happened to be a Friday, she would then lock him out for the whole weekend. But it got me thinking. It got me thinking about security. After looking at that, I thought, well, is there any reason that people need to be able to log into these digital services from everywhere in the world? What if you could lock it down? What if you could say, "You know what? I really only log into home banking from my home, and I want it that way." Well, you are given an IP address by your provider. You could put that in, and we could look at it and say, "Yeah, we're not going to let you in unless you have this IP address." It was actually a real simple thing to fix, and that's what I did for that person, but it led to a feature. The next feature that we came up with from that was, guess what? You can't go out of town and use your credit card without calling the bank first, right? You can't go to Europe or something without letting them know you're going there, because they think it's fraud. Why wouldn't we do the same thing for our digital services? So we were able to determine all of the IP addresses, or the addresses that were associated with the foreign countries, and we could ask people, "Hey, do you want to lock out, everywhere but the US?" You know what most people said? Yes. And that cut down on the fraud. So you can learn from every one of these experiences. But just from that single experience alone, we learned, you know what? It doesn't need to be wide open. So I guess what I'm saying is, keep your mind open, and more importantly, communicate with the customers, because you can learn so much from them. And make sure you get an understanding of what's happening.
Thanks again for working it big. Have a great day and a great week.
Wi-Fi. Why is Fi so important? Wi-Fi. It sucks, and so do you. Why does your Wi-Fi suck so bad? Wi-Fi. What's more important than Wi-Fi to your average millennial? Answer, nothing. They need Wi-Fi to live. Do you want all of your millennial employees to die? Is that who you are as an organization? You want to find them lying around, dead from lack of Wi-Fi? Well, shame on you. How are you going to help your organization grow wings and fly? Just like this. Imagine you're soaring through the air.
And to get you going.